Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Stractify, my visual arts channel. We are in the midst of our perspective drawing series, and we are still at stage 1 and covering 3-point perspective. Okay, we're still at stage 1 of 3-point perspective. Just a quick reminder for those of you who may be joining us for the first time. At the beginning of this perspective drawing series, we are starting with 3-point perspective. The way I approach teaching perspective, I prefer to start with 3-point perspective and then make my way down to 2-point and 1-point perspective. Most other courses usually start with 1-point and then they work their way up to 2-point and 3-point perspective. I've just found that I prefer to start with 3-point and then work our way down to 1-point and beyond. Okay, so with the 3-point perspective, we are at stage 1, and stage 1 meaning that our third vanishing point, is above the horizon line and at the top of the page, or as high up on the page as we can put it or we want to put it. Right? So again, 3-point perspective, again, we are using 3 points, 2 points on the horizon line, so 2 points on either end of the horizon line, and then the third point at the top of the horizon line. The two vanishing points at either end of the horizon line helps to determine the horizontal sides of the boxes or the cubes that we draw, whereas the third vanishing point helps to determine the look and the configuration of the vertical sides and edges of the box. Okay, so this was the color version that we finished yesterday. So before I get ahead of myself, I do these demonstrations in 2 parts. The first part is in black and white, and then the second part is in color. The reason why I do it that way is in black and white, yes, you may be following me, or you may be able to follow me as I do it, but at some point, because of all these lines, things get a little bit confusing, and since it's duotone black and white, you can tend to get things mixed up. So the reason why I turn around and do basically the exact same drawing in color is so that you, the viewer, can distinguish between the construction lines, the actual box. So like in this case, the orange construction lines belong to the red box. The blue construction lines, the light blue construction lines belong to the dark blue box, and then the light green construction lines, you can see that they belong to the dark green box. So you can make that, you can distinguish that such that when you're going back and forth through the video, you're rewinding, you're fast forwarding, you're pausing, you can actually look at the drawings and you can zoom in and you can see those differences if you need to do that, and if you need to look and make sure you're doing things right, or you want to correct yourself or make sure that you're understanding things properly. Okay? So with that being said, this was the color version, and I was supposed to be done with this so that we can move on to stage 2. And in stage 2, we're going to be dealing with the third vanishing point below the horizon line, somewhere below the horizon line at the bottom of the page, okay, or as far down on the page as we can put it. But there were some mistakes made on this. You can watch the last video and you can see where those mistakes occurred. And it's not just because of those mistakes, but I wasn't fully satisfied with the way this turned out. So I want to take another stab at it and redo this whole thing. And so that's what I'm here to do, and I'm gonna just jump straight into it right now. Okay? That also gives me the chance to cover one other practice that I want most of you to get into the habit of doing before just jumping straight into perspective drawing. So let me set this aside and let me go ahead and get started. So I've already set up my page, and I've set up my horizon line. So even before I get started on that, let's just get a blank page here. And moving forward, any perspective drawing that you want to do, I want you to just do a quick sketch, a quick rough sketch of your composition. So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to come up with a little small rough sketch. This will be my horizon line. This is a simple horizon line. I'm not even going to get into the perspective technique too much. I'm just going to place my boxes. And so I'm going to want a box straddling the horizon line, and then another box under the horizon line. There's no accuracy to this. It's just to help me visualize what I want to get done here. And then one above, like that. Okay, just quick and simple. And then maybe, I really don't like doing this, so maybe I'll have one or two of these like right on the horizon line. Okay, so just as a reminder, let's go back to our basic model that will apply to every perspective drawing technique. Okay, so in learning this, how we're going to go about learning this is that you're going to draw boxes. This is your horizon line, and you're going to construct boxes or cubes below the horizon line, straddling the horizon line, on the horizon line. I talk a little bit about, this in terms of, I'm not comfortable with this particular model. Some people are, I am not, so I make that clear. And then boxes above the horizon line, and how they look as a result of being above, on, straddling, or below the horizon line with relation to their vanishing points. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's my basic model. I'm going to set this aside and refer to it, and this is what I'm going to shoot for. All right. So we are in color mode. We're doing things in color, so I am going to start again with my blue pen. And let's see. Let me set up my vanishing points. So this is my HL, horizon line. And then I'm going to have my vanishing point number 1 will be right there almost at the end, and vanishing point number 2 is going to be right there at the end, and my third vanishing point, I'm going to really push that up here somewhere. So this will be vanishing point 3, almost to the edge of the top of the page. Okay. All right. Hold on a second, let me make sure. Sorry about the shaking. All right, let me make sure my camera's focusing properly. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead, or that being done, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the box that straddles. So the middle box that straddles the horizon line, we're going to do that one first. So remember, from each, to establish your base, I like to start by establishing the base of my box. So remember, 2 radiating lines from each vanishing point. and then make sure you label each corner. So A, B, C, and D. Some of you might wonder, like, what's the logic behind my placement of some of these letters? I'm already seeing how my radiating lines to, say, to the vanishing point and other places, I'm already seeing ahead of time where they're going to go, and I try to place these in such a way that I'm not crisscrossing them. My lines aren't crossing them or cutting them, and such that I can see them clearly as I move forward. So that's a minor thing, but I pay closer attention to it when I'm teaching so that the viewer or the student that's watching is not confused in any way. So that's the main reasoning behind that. All right, so I've placed my vanishing point in such a way that I'm getting a straight line. I don't usually like that, but this is not the line that I generate from this to the third vanishing point is not going to interfere or get in the way of the line from here to the vanishing point. So I'm going to leave it alone and not get too picky about it. So again, just label your line somewhere here, because the top of my box will be here somewhere. So I'm just going to make sure that I keep track of B. Again, this is D. So if you're labeling, just make sure you are paying attention to how you're labeling and what refers to what. Okay, so this is line D. This is line C. Make sure I label that accordingly. And then this is corner A to vanishing point 3, and I'll label that accordingly. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I pick a height for my box, which will be, I want it to be right here, starting on the back edge like I usually do, like you've seen me do in previous videos. Again, I like to pick the back edge. I like to use the back edge to pick my height. You can use the front edge or, you know, the hidden edge or whatever. Whatever works for you, you do that. Okay, there's no hard and fast rule to that. So once I pick that height, that point right there becomes A1. Okay, A1. So I have A, line A, A1. Okay, and all this is just extra. There are people who do perspective drawings who don't have to do all this stuff, but for the sake of clarity, because I remember how confused I was when I first started doing perspective drawing, this is what makes sense to me, and I try to make it make sense to everybody else. So once I'm done with that, again, the line from A to B, and this is line A, this is line A, line B, the line from A to B, it's governed by vanishing point number 1, so I'm going to use vanishing point number 1 to strike a line through A1, straight through, and I follow that to line B to give me B1. Okay, and I'll just put that there like that, knowing that these two are related. Okay, and then from B1, because B from point B, corner B to corner C, that's governed by vanishing point 2, B1 to potentially C1, is governed by the same vanishing point. All right, and so follow that line to line C, where it intersects, that becomes C, your corner, C1, like so. And I'm just going to go ahead, I could just leave it like that. I'm going to go ahead and just complete everything. I think it's important to do that for you, the viewer, to see the complete construction and see that it's working all the way through. Okay, so C to D, C1 to this point, this is line D, gives me corner D1. Okay, and I'm going to write that here because I'm anticipating a line coming through there, and I want everything to be as clear as possible. So for this to work, A to D, I should have put that here, but A to D, so A1 to D1, okay? I could just draw that line for completion, or to complete it, but I'm going all the way through with the construction, and I want you guys to see it clearly, see it working, and it was accurate, and everything's connecting the way it should, okay? So what I'm gonna do is put down my long ruler, get my dark blue pen, get my short ruler, and I'm going to go ahead and do the dotted lines on the inner edges, like so. Inner edges, back edges, the parts that you don't see normally. The invisible edges, that sort of thing. All right, and then I will go ahead and outline the outer edge. All right, let me know in the comment section if all of this is making sense, if all of this is helpful, and definitely try this stuff out on your own. And as I'm doing this, just sort of thinking out loud, it'll be nice to have some of you viewers try some of this stuff, come up with compositions, and just, you know, send some shots. Send me some shots. I don't have that set. I don't have anything for that set up yet. It would be nice to have that. So as of right now, I'm thinking I might like that, but we'll see. If that thought lingers in my head, I'll try and see what I can set up, and once I have that set up, I'll give you guys the information. I'll put it in the I'll put a link down below in later videos where you can do that, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this channel. If something like that happens, then maybe I could show off some of the work that comes in, and that would be kind of fun, I think. Okay, so that's the first box in blue. All right, so I'm going to stop the video there. Again, this is Stractify. This is the visual arts workshop where I focus on concepts and techniques for drawing and composition at a foundational level. So we are in the midst of our perspective drawing series, and we're focused on 3-point perspective, and we're in stage 1, and we're in the color portion of that stage. I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. See you later. Take care.